So let's talk about jealousy. When you hear that word, what pops into your head? For most of us, it's probably, overt anger, obvious insults, maybe some dramatic eye rolling. But what if I told you the most dangerous kind of jealousy doesn't look like hate at all?
Yeah, the jealousy we all think we know is loud, it's obvious. But the real stuff, the kind that can actually do some damage, it's so much sneakier. It hides behind a smile, it pretends to be supportive, and this is the key, it comes packaged as a seemingly innocent, curious question. It completely flips the script on what we should be watching out for.
And this quote, it just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? These questions aren't a direct attack, not like a stab wound. No, they're more like tiny little pinpricks designed to slowly let the air out of your happiness, out of your confidence. They just deflate you. So we're going to decode 5 of the most common ones so you can spot them a mile away and protect your energy. Okay, first up, picture this. You get something nice, a new car, a vacation, heck, even just a great new jacket. You're excited, you share your news, and then bam, you get hit with this question. Notice what they're not saying. They're not saying, congratulations, or that's awesome, I'm so happy for you. They go straight for your wallet. And that's the tell right there. Why do they do that? Because it immediately puts you on the defensive. All of a sudden, this moment of joy turns into a moment where you feel like you have to justify your own happiness. Your win starts to feel less like an accomplishment and more like something you should feel guilty about. So what's the move? How do you respond without getting sucked into their whole negative vibe? Well, you don't explain, and you definitely don't justify. You just give a short, calm, and final answer that shuts it right down. I worked for it. It's simple, it's true, and trust me, it ends the interrogation right then and there. It's an interesting thing to think about, right? What feels worse? When someone questions how you paid for something, or when they question the achievement itself? Let me know what you think. All right, number 2. This one often comes when you're fired up about a new goal. Maybe you're starting a business, moving to a new city, going back to school, and just as you share your excitement, this question lands, perfectly disguised as caring concern. But here's the secret. This question has almost nothing to do with you. It's about them. It's projection. See, your courage to try something new holds up a giant mirror to their own fears, their own inaction. And since that's uncomfortable for them, they try to inject their doubt into your dream. It's a way to turn your ambition into a risk so they can feel better about staying put. Your response to this has to be pure, unapologetic confidence. You don't owe them a 10-page business plan. A simple, firm yes, I'm sure, is incredibly powerful. You're not asking for their approval, you're informing them of your decision. Then just change the subject. I mean, really think about that for a second. Are we more afraid of trying and failing on our own terms? Or are we more afraid of what other people will say about us for even trying? It's a tough one. Yes, the classic. This one almost always pops up right when you start to level up in life. You start setting healthier boundaries, you carry yourself with a little more confidence, you stop tolerating nonsense, and that's when you hear it. You've changed. You have to understand the translation here because it is so important. When someone says, you've changed, what they're really saying is, please go back to being the person who made me feel comfortable. This isn't about you or your growth, it's about their comfort. Your evolution disrupts the old, predictable version of you they were used to. So, whatever you do, don't defend yourself. Own it. The comeback here is just brilliant. Responding with, I hope I have, completely flips the script. You're agreeing with them, but you're reframing it as the entire point. You're supposed to change. That's what growth is. Let's be real for a second. When you think about this kind of energy in your own life, where does it usually come from? Is it your friends, family, people you work with? Just noticing the pattern is a huge first step. All right, number 4. This one is all about shaming your joy. You post about a win on social media, you wear a bold outfit because it makes you feel amazing, you're just openly happy. And then someone comes along and tries to label it as showing off or being a little much. Let's decode this, because it's not what it seems. This has absolutely nothing to do with you being humble. This is about your visibility. Your unapologetic joy makes them deeply uncomfortable. Because maybe they're used to you playing small. They don't want you to be humble. They want you to be invisible. And your response? It's simple, it's beautiful, and it reclaims your right to be happy. I'm not apologizing for joy. That's it. It's a powerful statement that leaves absolutely no room for argument. Smile and move right on. I want you to be really honest with yourself on this one. Have you ever gotten some great news and immediately kind of minimized it because you were worried about how it would make someone else feel? Yeah, so many of us do this. And now for our last one. And honestly, I think this one is the most disrespectful of them all. It's designed to politely, subtly erase all of your hard work. You accomplished something big, something you poured your heart into, and this is the very first thing they ask. This question is basically a search for a loophole. They are digging for any possible reason to believe you didn't actually do it on your own. And why? Because your genuine, undeniable capability completely shatters the small box they've mentally put you in, and their ego just can't handle it. The best thing you can do here is own your achievement with zero shame. Look them dead in the eye, smile, and say, yeah, I worked really hard on it. You're not just claiming your victory, you're showing them you see right through their little game. So, as we've been going through these, did one or two of them just, hit a little too close to home? Which number have you heard them most in your life? And really, this all boils down to one simple but powerful rule to protect your peace. Stop asking yourself, are they being nice? The question is flawed. Instead, ask yourself this. Are they trying to understand me, or are they trying to shrink me? It's that simple. Genuine support feels like oxygen. It expands you. Jealousy feels like an interrogation. It tries to box you in. Once you learn to hear these questions for what they truly are, you can't unhear them. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Which one of these hit the hardest for you personally? And more importantly, the next time you hear it, what are you going to say back?